You know, every now and then you come across a case file that just feels wrong. Not because of the crime, but because the evidence itself seems to defy all logic. It feels impossible. Well, this is one of those files. We're opening the case of Emily, a woman who vanished, but whose ghost seems to be running the investigation.
And this was the very first clue that just didn't fit. A distorted whisper, caught by sheer chance on an officer's body cam near the scene. It's this chilling contradiction that hangs over every single piece of evidence that follows. Because if she's not missing, then what is she?
So let's start where the police did. For a few hours, this looked like a pretty standard, if tragic, missing person case. The facts seemed simple. The details, however, were already starting to come apart at the seams.
Okay, now look at how this timeline just breaks. 12:17 a.m., Emily leaves work. Totally normal. 2:14 a.m., her car's found, engine still warm, door hanging open, but she's nowhere to be found. But then, look at this last part. 2 full hours after her phone is supposed to be in a police evidence bag, it somehow records a brand new voicemail. That doesn't just bend the rules, it completely shatters them.
So, what the first responders found inside that car is crucial. And what they found was nothing. No signs of a struggle, no broken glass. Her phone was just sitting there, right on the passenger seat. But every single officer on scene reported the same bizarre detail. Even though the engine was running, the heater was still on, the air inside the car was unnaturally, bitingly cold, like a pocket of deep winter just hanging there in the air.
All right, let's get into the evidence, because this is where the case file stops feeling like a police report and starts reading like something straight out of a horror story. The clues themselves seem to fight back against any logical explanation.
And here it is, the central paradox. The phone was recovered by police at 2:14 a.m. It was tagged, bagged, and secured. But then, at 4:14 a.m., it gets a new voicemail. How does a phone locked away in an evidence room record a message? And more importantly, who or what is leaving it?
The voice on that recording? It was undeniably Emily's. But the message itself was a riddle wrapped inside a warning. I'm still here. Okay, where is here? And then this firm command, don't come looking. It's a missing person telling the world to call off the search.
And this just perfectly illustrates the next dead end. Investigators pull the security tape from the diner, obviously expecting to see her leave. But at the exact moment she reaches for the door, the camera glitches. It just freezes on a single static frame, creating this perfect blind spot right where the truth should be. It almost feels intentional.
But see, this wasn't just a simple technical glitch. When the audio techs cleaned up the static humming underneath that frozen frame, they found something hidden inside it. A single, breathy word, wait. As if something was holding that moment and the camera in its grip.
If you thought that was strange, what happens next blows this case wide open. This is the point where the laws of physics just seem to give up, with that impossible phone once again at the center of it all.
Okay, look at how this unfolds. This is all standard procedure. The phone is taken from the scene, it's logged, and it's sealed in a steel evidence locker at the station. It's completely locked away from the world. Hours go by. Then, the impossible happens. The phone's GPS suddenly activates, pinging its location. Not out in the woods, not at her house, but from right inside the police station. So they race down to the evidence room. They unlock the heavy steel door where that phone should be sitting in its sealed bag, and they find nothing. The locker is completely empty. The phone's digital ghost had just pinged from inside that room, but the physical object itself had vanished into thin air.
So, with their primary piece of physical evidence gone, investigators had only one place left to look. They had to go back to the digital ghosts they'd already captured, that voicemail and that single glitched frame of footage.
So they took the only thing they had left, that digital copy of the impossible voicemail, and they basically put it under an audio microscope. They slowed it way down, stretched it out, peeling back every layer of sound to listen for anything they might have missed.
And what they found is, well, it's truly horrifying. The recording wasn't just Emily's voice. It was 2 voices, speaking as one. One was hers, but the other was this deep, rasping, inhuman sound, woven into her words like a shadow. And this second voice was adding its own words to her message.
When they finally isolated the 2 tracks, the full message was revealed. Emily says, "I'm still here," and the other voice whispers,
behind you. This message wasn't a call for help from miles away. It was a threat from somewhere terrifyingly close.
This discovery sent them scrambling back to the last piece of this impossible puzzle, that single frozen frame from the diner's security camera. Knowing what they knew now, what else was hiding in that static image?
And this is it. This is the final horrifying truth. They enhanced the image, zooming way in on the faint reflection in the glass of the door she was about to open. And there she was. She hadn't walked through it. In the reflection, Emily is still standing inside the diner, her body motionless, just watching, trapped in that one frozen moment of time. As the analyst zoomed in on her face in the reflection, her eyes, in the grainy frozen image, seemed to turn and lock directly with the camera. And at that exact moment, a new whisper was picked up by the lab's recording equipment. A clear, close voice that said, "You found me." Then the footage finally cut to black.
And this is how the official file ends. Case closed. Not solved, just closed. There was nowhere else to look. Her official status is listed with a single, cold word, unrecovered. She was found, but she could not be reached.
Which brings us right back to that first warning. Don't come looking. It wasn't a plea from a victim. It was a rule set by whatever found her first. It leaves you with one chilling thought. What happens when the thing you're looking for is still there, just on the other side of the glass, looking back?